Welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham, and I'm your host. And today we have the pleasure of having with us in the studio Shirley, Baptiste, Zwahl. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
About
Very
that.
good.
All right. Well, the interview's looking up. Okay. From Preferred Care at Home in Virginia Beach. Why don't you start by giving us an overview of what is Preferred Care at Home?
Well, Rory, Preferred Care at Home is a home care company. We are full service. We like to consider ourselves a full service company with a boutique approach. We're small, we're very personal, but we do provide a full menu of services. So we can provide homemaker companion care, we provide personal care, and we can provide some skilled nursing as well.
Okay. And one of the services that you have, I mean, I think possibly when people may think about this or think about someone who needs this kind of care for a very long time, but you also have a service that helps people in transition, like from a hospital to home or whatever.
That's correct. Because hospitals are being fined basically for letting people go home before they're ready, we've come up with a program that is helpful when people are being discharged. So we have the smooth transition care, which is basically we give you a transition coach. That person will follow you, will talk with your discharge planner, make sure that your medications are correct, will pick you up at the hospital if necessary, or a rehab facility if you are being discharged from a rehab facility. We'll take you home, make sure that the food in your fridge isn't spoiled if you've been gone for a long time. Make sure that you filled your prescriptions, make sure you have everything you need in a handy place. If you don't have a follow-up appointment, we make sure that you get one, or you know where to go to get one, and if necessary, take you to that appointment. We also check in periodically just to make sure that you're still doing well. All of this is done in order to prevent you from being readmitted to the hospital. I don't know if you know, but with Medicare, if you're readmitted within 60 days for the same condition, Medicare won't cover the cost. So it's really important for people to stay out of the hospital once they're discharged.
No, that's my motto: stay out of the hospital.
Just stay out of it.
And this isn't just for seniors. This is for...
No, it's for anyone. Let's say you had surgery, same-day surgery. We could perform that service, and we would do it over a shorter span of time. What we would do is over a 4-hour span of time or a 2-week span of time, if that's what you'd like. We'd perform the same service, pick you up, make sure you don't have spoiled food in the fridge, settle you in, and then check up on you periodically to make sure that you're okay.
Okay. So where is your office located? I said in the beginning it was in Virginia Beach, but where in Virginia Beach?
We are on Stone Moss Court in Virginia Beach, which is right off of South Independence Boulevard.
Okay.
So we're pretty central. We have, if you're in that area, you'll see a lot of brightly colored vans. So We Care Transportation is right next to us, and they do transport for children and that sort of thing.
And you service the entire Tidewater area?
We do.
Okay.
We do. We don't like to tell people, sorry, can't help. So if we can't help you, we will refer you to someone who can. Okay. That's really an important part of why we got into this business. There are so many people who need help. There are so many people who are doing it alone, going it alone. And there are so many resources out there that can be used to make life a little better, so that people can live with some independence and dignity, most importantly.
And safety.
And safety,
Yeah,
exactly.
I would assume there's a lot of mistakes being made out there.
Yes, there are. there are. We do a lot of work with, obviously, people who have dementia, Parkinson's, that kind of thing. So we are geared, because I have a special interest in those populations as well. So we're kind of geared towards those populations.
Yeah, I met you at the Parkinson's event
Yes.
that you were at,
Yes.
walkathon.
Yes.
And how long have you been in business?
This location has been in business 3 years. So Preferred Care at Home is a franchise.
Okay.
We are a national company, and we're locally owned and operated. There are about 40 locations across the country, and we have locations from Alaska to Wisconsin. And Preferred Care at Home actually was founded in Florida in 1984. So we've been around quite a while. Our location is the first one in Virginia Beach, and currently we're the only one in Virginia.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. There's a lot of companies that do what you do
Yes.
in the area. What makes you different, do you think?
Well, I think the major thing is the company's culture. We have a unique culture. If you speak with any owner of a Preferred Care at Home location, you'll realize that we all have been impacted by the need to find care for a family member. And so when we talk to people, we're coming from a place that we know. For my location in particular, I think that what makes us unique is our approachability, our ability to determine what resources are available and connect people with those resources. Our feeling that, for most home care companies, if you look at cost is going to be about the same. The way people hire their employees is going to be about the same. But with us, it is personal. We are very much invested in providing care to veterans, to, as I said, people with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's, because those issues have impacted my life personally. And I think that we try to find a solution, even if that solution doesn't involve using us as the home care company. We try to find a solution for anyone who comes across our path and wants to find good home care.
You mentioned hiring employees. What is the procedure that you go through to recruit employees?
We advertise. We do a lot of advertising. Local churches, the senior resource centers throughout the cities. We do posting on the internet, all of those things. But we're constantly recruiting. We're recruiting on a weekly basis because we actually have to sift through lots and lots of people to find just the people that we believe will present our philosophy in the way that we want it presented. So we do a lot of recruiting. We do a lot of investigation. We do a 7-year criminal history background check on everyone. We do drug testing. And we also do an interview process that's a little bit more involved, I think. We do a phone interview. If we like what we hear, we invite the candidate in for an in-person interview. And at that point, we give them a test, a skills assessment, and we also do some other things that can help us determine whether that person will kind of fit in with our corporate culture. And then if we like what we see during the in-person interview, we invite them back for an orientation to our company, our beliefs, our philosophies, and if we're still liking what we're seeing at that point, then we do a careful match with people who need care. So let's say that you have a family member who needs care, and that person really likes to read. We find a caregiver who is on our registry who likes to read. Let's say the person likes to, in addition to their skills that they need to have, obviously, we look at personalities, likes and dislikes, things like that, so that we know we have a little bit of a smoother.
You're looking for compatibility.
Yes, yes. And if they aren't compatible, if it turns out that they aren't, we will remove that caregiver and place someone else, because it's important. Having someone in your home is really very scary to most people, and it's important that you're compatible with that person.
Well, I can see that.
Yes.
Right. And so what would you tell people, families looking for a service like this, what advice do you have for them?
Well, I think
Things they should look for.
Well, I think the most important thing to look for is, does that company give you what they have promised? Do they deliver what they've promised? Are you seeing the things that were discussed that you're supposed to be getting? Are you getting those things? If you have a problem, if you have a concern or an issue, is that concern addressed with you? Does the company also include family members as well as the person being cared for? If the person being cared for has a real issue with a caregiver, does the company just say, well, we can't do anything about it, and that's it? Just basic, old-fashioned, I guess, things that help people to become less anxious about the services that they're receiving. Home care services can get a pretty bad name, and we're trying to turn the tide.
Well, it's a very personal thing. So,
Yes.
And everybody's different.
Yes.
So, I can see where, compatibility is important.
Compatibility is very important.
Knowledge of what you're supposed to be doing
Yes.
and delivering is
Yes.
important. So.
Yes. And another thing that we do is we try to keep the caregiver and the client together. Unless, of course, there is an emergency situation, or the client doesn't want the caregiver there, that kind of thing. We try to keep people together, because once that rapport is developed, it actually helps with providing the care. It helps with building trust, because a lot of people obviously don't want the service. So if you have someone there you're compatible with, and the rapport is there, you're more likely to listen and
respond better.
Right.
Was there anything else I haven't covered? I finished my list.
Well, I think one thing I truly wanted to say, especially to families who are either looking for care or who have care in place, please remember, when you're dealing with people who work for home care companies or home care companies, please remember to be empathetic. Please remember that you need to put your family member's shoes on for a little bit and think about, if I were this age, if I lived to be 90, if I was lucky enough to live to be 90, and I've lost all my friends, I've lost most of my family, the only person that I see on a regular basis is maybe this caregiver. Please don't try to step in and direct the caregiver to do things that maybe the family member does not want done. Please remember that people want to stay in their homes. So many times I hear, family members say, well, they'll be better off, in an assisted living, or they'll be better off here or there. People never think of those places as home. They think of them as the place where old people go. So think about that. If I were in that situation, I would want to be home as well. So don't make it about yourself. Make it about the member, the family member that you are trying to procure
Well, that's
care
good
for.
advice. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a lot of information. So if you have a family member that may need some care, or there's a transition going on in your family from the hospital to home, and you could benefit from some additional help, you could give Shirley a call at Preferred Care at Home. The contact information is at the end of this video, and it's also at the bottom of this page. I thank you very much for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me.
It sounds like you've got a wonderful company, and wish you a great deal of success. You seem to be successful already.
Thank you.
But obviously you
appreciate
care about your clients.
We certainly do.
Yeah, that
We
comes
do.
through very well.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.